What's poppin', T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Edition, Season 17, Episode 10 review. Sorry this review is up late. I've been extremely busy fixing my house. The house tour video will be up very, very soon. I'm wrapping everything up with the last finishing touches on my new place, so get ready for that. But before I start my review tonight, I have some behind the scenes tea. A lot of you reached out to me during the week saying, Keisha, you got to talk about Tahiri and Joe. Keisha, you got to talk about Tahiri and Joe. Calm down, people. Calm your tits. So, if you don't know, Tahiri did an interview with Jason Lee earlier this week and accused Joe Budden of abuse. So, here is what she had to say.
And I used to always say, stop beefing out there. I'm out there still working. And he hit me on that nose and then pushed me down a flight of stairs. I remember having to talk him out of letting me go that day. I remember having a plan to leave because the reason why he was so upset was because I was already leaving. That relationship left me with a fractured rib.
Okay, so she said that he punched her in the nose, he had a fractured rib, he pushed her down the steps and things of that nature. Now, here's what she had to say about the situation on the show.
I hate my nose. I see a lot of nose.
Why do you hate that about yourself?
Because I just do it. A couple years ago, a man punched me in the face and it's forever crooked. Someone broke my nose years ago. I was out and a man just threw this punch and cracked my nose. So ever since then, all I see is nose because it's actually pretty crooked.
Okay, so on the show, she said a man did it a few years ago. In the interview, she did say she had her nose broken twice. So I'm assuming the first time was by Joe. The second time was this altercation that she had with some man, or the first time the first time had to have been the altercation that she had with this man because of the video I'm about to show you next. And then I guess the second time she got her nose broke was allegedly by Joe. So Joe Budden, of course, took to his podcast, and this is what he had to say.
Let me start with, this young lady is a liar, a cancerous, toxic liar. I'm uncertain why she's lying this way. I'm not certain if she is misspeaking, if she has a false recollection of things. I'm not sure what it is, but she said some things that didn't sit right with my soul. We're talking about 24 and 25-year-old Joe, 25-year-old, 26-year-old you. We were toxic to each other. And I'm glad that the climate has changed and we are able to have some conversations today that we couldn't have back then. Yeah. Because today I'm very comfortable saying you were abusive. You used to beat my you hit me, you kicked me, you did a whole bunch of that's not what was alleged here. Let me start with, you said or made it seem as though your nose was broken as a result of abuse by Joe. You were not clear in how and when and why you got your nose broken, and that Joe had absolutely nothing to do with that. You are a cancerous, toxic, clout check chasing liar. You called me when you got into that physical altercation with that gentleman and he punched you in your face and your nose was broken. Why this story is coming up now and how it's related to me exactly, I'm unclear. But I can tell you what happened since your memory seems to be a bit foggy all of a sudden. You said or made it seem as though your nose was broken as a result of a...
that really...
Okay, so he says that they were violent towards each other. They were young. They were their mid-20s when they were in this relationship, and she used to beat him up, and that they used to fight each other. Now, a clip came up for when Joe and Tahiri was together, and they used to do videos together back in the day. And in this video, you'll see what he has to say and what she had to say.
She was in a fight with a guy and lost.
I wasn't in a fight with a guy, first of all. Because who says that about his girl? She was in a fight with a guy and lost.
Because you might win.
You didn't do nothing.
No. That's where you. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Listen, no. That's some good shit. I like when you say no comment. Now, that's some good shit. No, that was a coward. It wasn't even a man. That's all I have to say. As I was disrespected, I was violated. And then on top of that, because I defended myself, a nigga came and swung and hit my nose.
That nigga sucked my dick. I'm gonna see you. Don't worry about it.
No,
listen.
Come on.
So listen, this is it. As I turn the camera on, talk about that. No comment.
Thank you.
Listen.
So in the video, you heard her clearly say that somebody else did it. Like I said, she alleged in the video that it was broken twice. But yeah. And so before I give you my thoughts and then we get to the review, Dr. Ish did a no, I'll tell you my thoughts on this first. I believe Joe that they both were violent towards each other. I think that she hit him, he hit her. Now, whether he broke her nose is up for debate, but violence is violence. It's wrong on both ends. They were young, they were toxic, they're no longer together. My thing with Tahiri is we've seen you on Love and Hip Hop over the last 6, 7, maybe 8 years. At one point you were helping Joe get clean. At another point y'all started back dating. He proposed to you. You said no. You left the show. This past season you were back on the show again. It seemed like you still had some leftover residual feelings for him. You remained friends with him. If the way you were acting in the interview with Jason Lee, he did all of these horrendous things to you, yet and still you got back with him. You want to be friends with him. If a nigga broke my nose and pushed me down a flight of steps and cracked my ribs and things of this nature, we ain't friends. We ain't never speaking. I don't know you. I don't see you. I'm on some John Cena type shit. So either you just really fucked up in the head and on some battered woman type shit where you just accept abuse like they said about your ass tonight on the show, or like he said, you clout chasing for attention or whatever the case may be. I just find it a bit ridiculous. It's something in the milk ain't clean. That's all I got to say on the situation. And so this is what Dr. Ish had to say about the whole situation and how the viewers are upset that they did not get on Tahiri about being violent as well. And this is what he had to say.
Is that a lot of people wanted you to address Tahiri, and you kind of hinted on it during Twitter. You said, unfortunately that was cut out. You did address her and throwing different things at Vado. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it's, medicine is about timing and dosage, right? And so it's not just about the dose of the medication, but it's also about when you get it. So in a domestic violence incident, right? So, I don't need to give you my background. College, obviously, 4 years of med school, 3 years of psych residency after that, another 2 of child and adolescent fellowship after that, to learn how to handle these situations, right? And so the first rule in a domestic violence situation is you secure the premises, right? You make it a safe space. That means whoever is the aggressor in that moment has to be removed. Non-negotiable. That's the rule. That's the medical rule. That's the legal rule. So that's what we do there. Now, after that happens, and whoever's going to stay in the house is staying in the house, when's the right time to help? When's the right time to address their part in it, right? So that's the big question, right? Was Tahiri wrong for yelling and screaming in his face? Absolutely. Was Tahiri wrong for pushing that chair on him? Absolutely. Was she wrong for throwing those apples at him like she was a pitcher for the Yankees? Absolutely. But when's the right time to talk to her about it, right? If a woman is in the midst of getting her face punched in, is that the time to go up and say, hey, you know what, darling, the reason he's hitting you is because you said that thing about his mama, and you should have said that, so you just got to let it play out. No, obviously not the right time. Is the right time to address it, her part in it when he's got her locked in the closet. She can't come out till he comes home because that part happens. And do you speak to her through the closet door and say, hey, darling, you know what? The reason he's got you locked in that closet is because you were just not very helpful and you were a little mean-spirited to him before? No, right? But so in the aftermath of it, you address it quick enough so that she can make the connection. Hey, you know what? I was wrong, and I was very provocative in what I did. And this is the part I played in the cycle of violence. Because make no mistake, it's a full-on codependent relationship, right?
Okay, I have several things to say about that. He says that after incidents of violence, you isolate the person, you take them out. So when she pushed the chair, y'all didn't have any type of rebuttal. Nobody jumped in. When she threw the first night they were in the house and she threw something at him while he was in the bed, nobody stepped in. When she threw those apples at him, nobody stepped in and pulled her out the way. She had 3 separate incidents in that house where she was violent towards him and nobody did anything. But then when he did what he did, it's, security, put the chains on the door and shit. Like the enemy is here type bullshit. What the fuck are you talking about, Dr. Ish? Y'all dropped the ball. Nobody said nothing to her. You's a goddamn lie. You're a damn lie. And y'all trying to cover y'all motherfucking asses. Because if y'all would have said something to her, it would have been reiterated over and over again, like it was reiterated that he was in the wrong. So get the fuck out of here. I lost a lot of respect for Dr. Ish after this season and the way that they handled this entire situation, because she should have been reprimanded or put out the house after the second incident. Okay? And then when she hit him in the face with those apples, she really should have been put out the house. But y'all made her this martyr and put her on a pedestal like she's the face of fucking physical abuse now. Girl, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Anywho, so on to tonight's episode, the season finale. It is over. So Hazel asks Phaedra, does Devon have blood on his pants? Because we pick up exactly where we left off with her coming back from the club and finding him drunk in the room. You know, she's panicking. She think he was doing something he had no business doing, but quite on the whole flip side of it, he wasn't even doing anything. So Phaedra's like, no, I think that's just vomit. Like, girl, calm down. She was like, ooh, thank you, Jesus. I was like, yeah, girl, calm your insecure ass the fuck down. So the girls and the guys sleep separately, and the next morning they're in the rooms and they discuss the lie detector test and what they're going to do, how they're going to react or whatever, who lied, who were the 3 that were deceitful. So Medina doesn't know what he's going to do, and neither does Tahiri. She doesn't know what she's going to do either. So the group gathers and Judge Toller gives the results to the lie detector test. So up first is Phaedra and Medina, and Phaedra's question to Medina was, do you want to be in a sexual relationship with Phaedra? His answer was yes, and no deceit was indicated. Of course, he want to have sex with her. I don't believe nothing about their storyline. I think they both came on her for a check. She was asked the same question and said no, and no deceit was detected. That's because they're just friends and they came on her to get it back. The judge says to Phaedra, I think he's more comfortable with himself than you are. That shit tickled me because she was basically saying, bitch, you don't know who you are yet. And I 100% agree, because this is the same woman that was damn near 40 and got her old ass on goddamn national TV and lied about her pregnancy because of how her mama in a church was going to look at her because she got pregnant before she got married. Girl, get out of here. You don't love yourself. So, Shonda and Willie are up next, and her question to him was, do you plan to be faithful to Shonda moving forward? He said yes, and no deceit was indicated. That nigga just know how to pass the test, because I don't believe that shit at all. So Willie asks her, can you truly forgive him? Can she truly forgive him for the infidelity? The judge then gives him the answer in an envelope and tells him that he can open it later or not, or whatever the case may be. At first, I thought that deception was going to be indicated the fact that he got an envelope, because it's kind of what they did last season, but they switched it up. I thought that hers was going to be deceitful because I didn't honestly think that she could forgive him. I still don't believe it now. I really don't believe that she can honestly forgive him for everything that he's done. So Tahiri is up next, and her question to Vado was, her question from the judge and Dr. Ish was, do you accept physical violence as a normal part of a relationship? She said no, and deception was indicated, and I 100% do believe that she normalizes her behavior because, as we see, she didn't hold herself accountable for anything that she did on this show. She does think that physical abuse is okay in certain instances, unless I guess it's done to her. So she was like, "What? Like, I don't think that. I don't agree with that at all." So, Vado couldn't ask her a question, which we all thought was some bullshit. But her question to him was, "Are you truly sorry for putting your hands around Tahiri's neck?" He said yes. They give her the results in an envelope to open up later. I just hate that he wasn't able to ask her a question on his own. I just didn't like the way they handled this whole situation. He was wrong for what he did, but she was 10 times even more wronger because of the way that she acted. She wasn't remorseful. He never got an apology or anything like, blah, blah, blah. They really dropped the ball this season. This season started off great and it ended off horribly because of this. So, Hazel question, to Devon is, "Are you using me for fame?" He said no, and deception was indicated. Soon as deception was indicated, child, all her worst fears, all her insecurities, all her self-esteem issues came rising up, child, rising up like a tidal wave, bitch. Her face turned pink. You could tell her eyes is welling up. And so she becomes emotional, and Dr. Ish then hands out rings to everyone because the ring ceremony will be later on that night. And so he separates the guys from the girls so everybody can go and get dressed and everything. Hazel goes upstairs and immediately busts out and start crying. Remind you, she couldn't she couldn't give Devon a question because, they were saying, she had went through enough with her body or whatever. They didn't want to put her through that. So she's crying. Phaedra is upstairs rubbing her back and everything. And the judge talks to Tahiri about the results and basically tells her that she'll be able to face Vado at the ceremony and that they were proud of her for the way that she's been handling herself or whatever the case may be. And I was like, what the fuck ever. So the guys are in the room talking, and Devon says about Hazel, and this is very key where you have to listen to what people say. His exact words were, "I love that girl. I don't give a fuck about that. Maybe in the beginning I may have thought that, but I actually fell in love with her." So he admitted that in the beginning of the relationship, he was on some, I'm going to just get what I can out of this girl. But he eventually started to, I guess, like her and catch feelings for her. But you were using her in the beginning. You would have just been better off just saying that. But knowing that was the way you came into it, it wasn't no even genuine like that. You just saw me as somebody you can get something out of. That would make me totally look at you a whole nother different way. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even want to fuck with you after that. Like, this is a wrap. So, Hazel tells the girls that she bought him all these clothes and gave him fame on IG and put him on TV. I was like, listen to what you said. You did all of these things. Nobody put a gun up to your head. God didn't come down from the sky and say, "You'll be damned to hell if you didn't do this." You did these things because you have some issues going on with you where you feel as though you're not good enough to be with somebody, I guess, that look like him. And so you bought him to be with you. And then you want to ask him, is he with you for clout? If he was with you, if you even thought that he was with you for clout, why were you doing things for him? You did exactly what he wanted you to do, you fool. All of this is your fault. You can't blame this on that little boy. You wanted him. You thought that you had to buy him, and that's what you did. And now you're insecure about, oh, do he even like me? You would have known if he liked you or not if you didn't buy his ass shit, if you didn't put him on, your IG and like, girl, you was the dummy. You played yourself. You can't be mad at him. So Devon then gets up to go check on her, and Hazel, just leave me alone. She don't want to talk, but he won't leave. So Phaedra gets up and lets them have their alone time. And Devon say, "You ain't never got to put me on IG or nothing again. This isn't it." Hazel say, "You already came up, so it don't even matter." And they going back and forth. She get up, she open her bottle of water and splash it all on him. And he was like, "Look, what I got to put up with," or whatever the case may be. And I was like, you a fool for even putting up with that type of abuse just so you can get a couple of trinkets from somebody. Like, you ain't got no self-esteem. Like, how you ain't got no self-worth. Like, both of y'all fools. So the security then follows them in the room as they go in the room. Hazel goes in the room first and Devon follows her. So security goes in to make sure that nothing, physical happens. She crying and screaming, just saying, you already came up now. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. And so Willie and Medina step in too and pull Devon out the room. I think at some point she even hit him, and the guys escort him out. And I'm like, if she did hit him, why didn't nobody say nothing to her? Like, oh my God. So Dr. Ish talks to Hazel and tells her that she don't need anybody that makes her feel small. But my thing with Hazel, like I just said, it ain't about what other people make her feel, how they make her feel. It's about how she makes herself feel and how she feels about herself. So Vado gets to the house and he's separated from everybody. He can't even sit with the dudes. Like, what the fuck is about to happen with him sitting with the guys? Like, they just got him isolated in a room like he just some monster or something. Like, get the fuck out of here. So, he admits that he needs to grow up and needs to work on his peace of mind and everything like that, but how the last 10 days have really helped him. So Hazel tells the girls that she like, what should I do tonight? She was like, she talked to her mom and her mom was like, make him sign a management deal in case he is using you. So if he is using you, you could be making money off of his modeling career. The fact that you even have to go through some shit like that, girl, says everything. Like, you's a fool for even going that far just to make sure you feel something or you have something on him if he is using you. How about just stop doing for him? How about that? Never crossed your mind. Oh, Jesus. So Willie and Shonda start off the ring ceremony. He gives her ring and she does too, and they all happy and she crying and shit. And I know she had another baby by him, so congratulations, I guess. So Hazel and Devon go up next and he tells her the test isn't who he is now. Remember those words. The test isn't who he is now. So he said he loved her and he gives her a ring, and Hazel then gives him the management contract so she doesn't feel completely played, and the ring. And this dummy signs it, doesn't even read it, and gives her 30%. You's a fool for letting this girl get 30% off anything you make, you goddamn idiot. Y'all deserve each other. So Dr. Ish is like, what the hell? What the fuck is going on? Like, this is the most ignorant shit I've ever seen in my life. So Medina and Phaedra go up and she tells him he doesn't confront problems head on. And he tells her that she ain't ready for a man like him, child. He opens his box and he does not have a ring, and she does, and she plays it off like her feelings are really hurt and this, that. It was some good acting, but okay, girl. So then he says he has an addendum and that he's going to hold the ring until she's ready for him. Okay, people. So Tahiri says in her confessional that Vado is her best friend, but that he made a mistake in front of the doctor, 10 people and the cameras and this and that. And I'm like, girl, you made several mistakes in front of 10 people, the cameras and the doctors. Like, what the fuck? Like, everything is his fault. So Vado comes out and she's holding back tears and shit, acting like she on Days of Our Lives or some bullshit. And Tahiri says to him, I told you about my past and you turned around and did the same thing. I gotta do this for young Tahiri and every girl that a shove means nothing to, because it's just something that happens in a relationship. And Vado was like, is this what y'all really brought me here for? Like literally they're trying to make her the poster child for physical abuse. And I'm like, girl, what is you talking about? Like, girl, shut up. So Tahiri said, I want to make all the excuses for you, and this box is a ring, but I'm keeping it because it's self-love. And so she then gives him back the results, says she ain't even read it, she don't want to read it because she done. And Vado started laughing like, this is some straight bullshit. He was like, I messed up one time and I got to go through all of this. And I'm like, exactly. Like, she did the worst. She hit that boy in that face like she was at a batting cage. Like, what the fuck? Like, she was consistently abusive towards him on this show and nothing was done to her. Then they, like I said, they put her on the fucking pedestal, let her do this stupid ass speech and this and that. Girl, get the fuck out of here. So Dr. said, yes, you did this, whatever. And then he said, you know the results, but she doesn't even want to know. So I guess he was telling the truth when he said that he was sorry, which means a lot because I would have probably failed. I would have said probably, yeah, but because that's what y'all want me to say, but I wouldn't have felt sorry, like, to be honest with you. So Dr. Ish didn't get the praise and Tahiri for sticking up for herself. I'm like, this is some bull swanky. So Dr. Ish didn't tell Vado he can leave and gives him the test results back. Vado still walked and throw that shit down. I don't blame him. I would have said, fuck y'all. So Phaedra helps, we find out, helped Hazel with the contract. The judge told her, hugs Tahiri and tells her she's so proud of her and what she said. Willie opens up the results and finds out that Shonda was telling the truth, that she could forgive him. Better bitch than me, child. And that was the season finale. I wish Corrupt and Mad Ass Tony would have been there. The house was missing something when they left. Like I said, they began on a high note and ended on a very sour note for me. I think this was by far one of the worst seasons of Marriage Boot Camp because of the doctor and judge, and not because of the group members that were there for therapy. They dropped the ball with the Tahiri and Vado situation completely, and they dropped the ball with Corrupt and Tony as well, because once they saw him having a drinking issue, episode 1, they should have put him out the house and asked him to go get help. This is not the place for you. We're not going to glamorize or pay you to come here and drink. So fuck you, Dr. Ish. And the judge told her, y'all fucked up the money, y'all fucked up the church's money, and y'all fucked up our viewership. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.